You got 3 more.
I'm sorry.
3 more minutes.
Charles Bakke with the California Association of Health Plans in opposition to the bill. I think the doctor laid out exactly what our concern is with the market disruption that the current interim rate in the bill would cause. I just would like to add that we also are supportive of average contract rates as the interim rate. We'd prefer there was no interim rate. We think that's problematic somewhat. But in the context of solving this problem, we were willing to last summer put forward the idea of average contract rates. That is based on the market. It's the going rate of exchange between providers and health plans and medical groups in various parts of the state. So I just wanted to address that issue. But a couple of statements made by the proponents of the bill. One was that we would be dropping contracts instead of the other way around. Someone on the committee asked the proponents if they would be indeed dropping contracts with health plans. We think that would be the case because this interim rate would be so high. As far as health plans being able to unilaterally drop all of our contracts with emergency physicians, we can't do that under law. The DMHC requires us to maintain network adequacy, and I think the department would have something to say about that if we went down that road. Additionally, the statement was made that health plans are drastically underpaying providers, which is the root cause of balanced billing. We disagree. There are emergency physicians who are charging 300, 400, 500% bill charges of Medicare. It would be irresponsible for us to pay those kind of marked up rates. That's why we don't do it. And our contract rates are obviously much lower than that. So we think that is actually the root cause of the problem. And then finally, it was discussed by Assemblymember Gaines and others in the committee, and I would just mention that the argument by the supporters that this solution had to be revenue neutral. They want revenue neutrality for themselves. It's not revenue neutral for health plans, for the medical groups. It's an increase in costs, an increase in premiums, and for that reason, we ask for your no vote. Thank you.
I want to hear from the witness who bought a suit to match his hair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bill Barnaby, representing the California Society of Anesthesiologists, and unlike the prior two witnesses who were here to represent the payer side of the equation, we represent the practitioner, the working person who actually renders the care. So we're going to get most of the first witness in opposition express support of the bill. So you're cutting into my time because he spent most of his time supporting the bill, which we deem well-intentioned but flawed. One of the reasons we oppose this bill is because it will discourage contracting. Contracting is the real solution to balanced billing. If there's a contract, there is a set rate, and there's no balanced billing. You have an interim, so-called interim payment system in this bill. We think that will become the de facto rate. Why would anybody contract for something other than what they're going to have to pay anyway? So that's going to become the de facto rate. You're going to discourage contract negotiations. The anesthesiologists have agreed, strongly agree, that patients should be kept out of the middle, and that's a given. Most anesthesiologists have at least one managed care contract. Several have, many have several, and virtually none have none, or none have all of them. In recent months, there have been health plans who have refused to renew existing contracts because they'd rather pay what little they want to pay and let the practitioner who actually provides the care that the subscriber has paid for, they would rather let the practitioner chase the money somewhere, somehow. So existing contracts are not being renewed, and that's a fact of life.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair?
We broke every rule in the book today, but we wanted to give everyone, yes, a chance to hear. Before I hear Ms. Strickland, witnesses, identify yourselves.
No, Ms.
No, we have a position of concern.
We do. Jody Hicks with the California Medical Association. We are somewhere in between. Our position is concerned, and our position is, frankly, for all of the testimony you've heard today, this is a complicated issue, and there is still dispute about what the appropriate interim payment should be. And this bill, while we recognize it's specific to emergency room physicians, we represent the House of Medicine, and we represent the anesthesiologists, and we represent the radiologists. And as complicated as this issue is just for ER physicians, it's even more complicated when we start talking about the other on-call physicians that also work in emergency settings. So as discussed, some of the concern is that this is a framework for future setting of a payment for the other doctors, and we're still looking at what that is. Thank you.
Angelica
What's your
Gonzalez.
position?
Opposition.
Oh, okay, fine. Just
Angelica
identify
Gonzalez.
yourself, yeah, please. Because your time has been used up.
Yeah, Anthem Blue Cross in opposition. Thank you.
Mr. Watt, identification.
Actually, Mr. Chair, I have just a request of the author moving forward, should the bill move out of committee, that I'd like to share here. Scott Wetch, on behalf of the California State Pipe Trades Council and the Western States Council of Sheet Metal Workers and the State Association of Electrical Workers, we have no position on the bill. If it should pass out of committee, we hope that the author would look at the issue of balance billing of members of self-administered, self-insured Taft-Hartley trust funds. For instance, the Southern California Pipe Trades is a self-administered, self-insured plan that contracts directly with provider groups, hospitals, and so forth, and our members get balance billed. But because the ban on balance billing within the bill is within the Knox-Keene Act and not also within the Business and Professions Code, it would provide no protection for our members who go in and then receive our balance billed. So we would just ask that the author explore that issue moving forward. Thank you.
Ms. Strickland.
Well, I just wanted to know if the committee would indulge the rest of Mr. Barnaby's testimony. He, I think, has a unique perspective coming from the anesthesiologist. If there would be another minute or so to finish his testimony.
Yeah, okay, of course.
Thank you, sir.
We're very accommodating today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Bill Barnaby again on behalf of the California Society of Anesthesiologists. We think the bill is well-intentioned but flawed, and we're not participants in the discussions. We have developed in the meantime, acknowledging that it's late in the game, an alternative that if this bill does not move, that we intend to flesh out and make available to others and to make available in further negotiations. But we don't think that you need to have the heavy hand of government, as this bill and most everything else is proposing. When you're talking about private health care, this is private between private health plans, private doctors, and subscribers to private health plans. Let the private sector work it out. We have an arbitration proposal we think that works, and it's separate and apart from having government run the entire ballgame. We don't think it's appropriate to use Medi-Cal rate charges as a device here to peg payment on. If any of you, and I think some of you have had difficulty getting information out of Medi-Cal, do you think it's really going to work in this instance? We don't think so. So we think it would be better served by letting the private sector resolve this issue. We're in strong support of taking the patient out of the middle, and we think that can be done without the interim payment process that's set forth here and without the Department of Managed Health Care running an independent dispute resolution system. The department has been in the news a great deal of late about what they have and haven't done. The regulations on balance billing have been approved by the Department of Managed Health Care, but that's not the end of the game yet. They're not law yet and may well not be law because there are serious concerns about their legitimacy. As you may know, AB 1455, the bill on which this legislation and others are based, called for the department to investigate and bring forth facts about unfair billing practices and unfair payment patterns, and then to recommend to the legislature a solution to balance billing. That has never been done. The department has not fulfilled that